Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Eric Jordan, a partner at the firm. How you doing, Eric?
Doing very well. How about you?
Doing great. We're going to get right into the employee retention tax credit. The real question is, why should we be covering it? What's different now?
Yeah. So this program came out during COVID. It was an opportunity for small businesses to get a lot of tax credit support. I think we help businesses get, I think the number was over $100 million in assistance throughout all the different COVID programs.
Wow. That's a lot of assistance.
This sure was. It was crazy times. But there's a reason I'm bringing this back up. So this program feels pretty much dormant at this point. Even the phone calls that have been going out to businesses from these ERC companies have really started to slow down and stop. But I'm bringing this up because there was a bill that was supposed to get passed by the House. You might have heard about it in the news. So there's the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act of 2024. They were trying to push this bill through to increase child tax credits, extend R&D credits. But one of the things that was going to do is going to completely shut down the ERC program as of 1/31/24, so January 31st of this year. Yep. That bill ended up just stalling out, and at this point, they can't go back that far and retroactively end the program. However, there are a couple new updates with the program. So the IRS stopped taking new applications for tax year 2020 on April 15th, 2024. 2021 is still open through April 15th of 2025, so we still have another year to get those in. And what we're seeing right now, so back last summer or late summer, fall, they put a moratorium on processing these claims. So
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the IRS pretty much said, hey, we're not going to process any new ERC claims. I think it was back in August last year. They said, hey, we got such a big backlog. We need to catch up. There's too many fraudulent claims that have gone through. So we're gonna pause on new things. We're going to get our systems caught back up, and we're going to start again on 1/1. Okay. We're not seeing the movement that we thought we'd be seeing in claims that were hung up in processing since then. Stuff is kind of trickling, kind of moving through. It seems like right now it's the resolution of all the kind of the messy items. Hey, I received 3 of the 4 quarter applications that you applied for. We're missing this one still. We didn't accept this. We put something in the wrong line. A lot of cleanup work that's still happening, and they're moving slow through that process. So really, if you have a credit that's outstanding, hang tight. For tax year 2021, where we can still do a new application, we're going to probably be mostly focusing on businesses that either had the actual revenue reduction. So this is in year 2021 versus year 2019. We had a 20% or greater reduction in revenue in any of those quarters, or businesses that did have a very clear government shutdown, meaning mostly restaurants. Your dining rooms were closed, especially here in Illinois, or limited, meaning that they were, say, limited to 50% capacity. So we'll still look at businesses that have very clear qualification criteria. The IRS has done many different things to pursue some of these fraudulent claims. So some companies got a little aggressive in creating claims for these, to the point where they're actually offering, if you received money and you think that whoever filed it for you filed it under either questionable or maybe fraudulent purposes, you can return 80% of the money you got and keep 20%, as long as you provide them with the provider who did that for you. So if essentially you become a whistleblower for that, for those ERC credits. So
as opposed to being held responsible if they find out, right?
Exactly. So that tells you that there were a significant amount of companies out there, and that they're going to let you keep some of the money if you turn them in. Now, a lot of that was meant to, a lot of these companies were charging 20, 30, 40% of the credit amount to do the work for you. So a lot of that is meant to reimburse you for what you were charged. But maybe you paid less than that, or maybe you never paid your bill and you feel really uncomfortable with what they did. And, there's an option for you to, wake up a little bit more soundly.
Well, basically it gives you the peace of mind, right? You're like, I didn't intentionally do this. This is what I got.
Everybody was doing it. It was the cool thing to do for a while. So, and hey, they said I'd get free money. All I got to do is fill out this questionnaire and here we go. I get a check in the mail. Great. And a lot of people were confused because they thought the IRS was actually checking your qualification for the credit when they process these claims, which is not true. They just took your 941X, your amended payroll tax return form, and processed it. They didn't say, oh, well, this business had to qualify for the government shutdown. This business qualified for revenue reduction. No, they just sent checks.
It's like, take our money.
Exactly. But yeah, we're still working through some credits that have been applied for that they just, for some odd reason, they have not released those funds. And they're just taking painstakingly long to get any movement out of them. So we're working our ways through that. We haven't seen any audits on on claims in which we filed, but other peer firms of ours have gone through audits at this point. And as long as your documentation is in place and you actually had a good reason to qualify, it seems like getting through those audits is
fine.
It's not a huge deal. So,
quick question as we wrap up. Where do we think this is kind of going? Is this going to die eventually?
Yeah. So the program will new applications for the program will officially end on 4/15 of 2025. So they won't, that ends the statute to apply for that refund for 2021. So 2020, if you hadn't filed a claim already, that's done for that
Already
year.
too late. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much, Eric.
My pleasure.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.